Hello friends, this is Pruthvi Mandaliya here. Today I'm gonna present you some knowledgeable information about hardening process in Linux system. So let's quickly start the session and move out to the next slide. Today's agenda for my presentation is to introduction about hardening process in Linux system, use of hardening process, tricks, tricks and tips for hardening process, advantages of hardening process, and queries regarding to the hardening process, where I'll be solving some of your doubts by from comments in below of the video. So let's quickly go to the introduction about hardening process. What do you mean by hardening process, and what do you mean by hardening is usually the process of securing a system by reducing its surface of vulnerability. The vulnerability is a trapdoor or a backdoor through which intruder can come into your system and do some malicious activity such as manipulating your user data, manipulating your system images, and many more. Vulnerability is larger when the system performs more functions. Hence, single function system is more secure than a multi-purpose system. There are various methods for hardening Unix and GNU system, which may involve applying a patch to the kernel such as excc, shield, or PAX, closing open network ports, and setting up intrusion detection system, firewalls, and many more. There are also hardening scripts and tools available in the market such as Linux, Besta Linux, Jazz for Solaris system, and many more. So let's go to the next slide and understand hardening process in Linux system. As you all know, 61% of world's server using Linux operating system to process the user data and giving them useful information. Hence, securing your Linux server is important to protect user data from crackers and from the hands of crackers and hackers. Linux is most powerful operating system while concerning its security, but it has inbuilt security support. Still, it requires a hardening to make sure it is more secure and reliable for rest of the world. Securing a system in production from hands of crackers and hackers is a challenging task for system administrator. That's why Linux system offers Linux security box to make ease of system administrator. Let's go to next slide and understand the use of hardening processes. Basic use of hardening process is to make sure the system is more secure and reliable. It is also requires to securing the user data. It is used for securing the system from accidental modification of the system resources. It also offers a boot level security. It disables the unwanted binary files, excessive resources, and unwanted logins to the system, which is useful while system has multiple users but single hardware resources available. It also gives a physical level security to the server. Next is tricks and tips for doing hardening process, which is doing security process. There are multiple security tricks and tips available online, but I'll be listing some of some of very few of them, which is physical system security, partition security, minimizing the packages to minimize the vulnerability, check the listening network ports, use the secure shell, keep system updated, lock down the cron jobs, disable USB sticks to detect, turn off the IPv6 support, remove KDE or genome desktops. So let's go to the physical system security. Configure configure the BIOS to disable the booting from the CD or DVD external devices floppy drive in BIOS. Next is enable BIOS password and also protect the grub with password to restrict the physical access of your system. Next is minimizing the packages to minimize the vulnerability. As we all know, Linux system is has inbuilt packages for their sub system services. Do you really want all the sort of services to be installed? It is recommended to avoid installing a useless packages to avoid vulnerabilities in packages. This may minimize the risk that compromise of one services may lead to compromise of other services. Find and remove or disable unwanted services from the server to minimize the vulnerability. Use the chkconfig command to find out the services which are running on run level 3, which is user level. The below command is used for listing all the system services running, which is slash sbin slash chkconfig hyphen list pipe grab and 3 semicolon on, which leads to which outputs the running services in the system. Once you have find out any unwanted service are running, disable them using following command, which is chkconfig space service name space off. Use RPM package manager such as yum or apt-get tools to list all the installed packages on the system and remove them using following command. For RPM package services, use yum -y remove package name, and for Ubuntu like system use sudo space apt-get space remove package name. Next is check listening network ports. With the help of netstate networking command, you can view all the networking ports and associated programs. In multipurpose system, there are multiple ports which are listening to network servers. It is useful to check all the listening network ports to secure the system from accidental modification of system services. The command to list all the listening network port is netstate -tulpn. Next is keep your system updated. Always keep system updated with latest releases of patches and security fixes and kernel when it is available. Use yum space update commands to update RPM packages, and use sudo apt-get update for Ubuntu like system. Next is lock down the cron job. The cron has its own ability in feature where it allows to specify who may and who may not want to run the jobs. This is controlled by the use of files called etc cron.allow and etc cron.deny. To lock a user using cron, simply add username in cron.deny, and to allow a user to run the cron, add in cron.allow file. Add user in cron.allow file. If you would like to disable all the user from using a cron, to add all line to cron.deny file. The done command which is responsible to do all this is echo hyphen space all greater than sign twice etc slash cron.deny. Next is disabling the USB stick to detect, which is a physical system security. Many times it happens that we want to restrict the user from using a USB stick in system to protect and secure data from stealing. Creating a file etc in etc directory, which is mod.modprob.d no USB, and adding a below line will not detect a USB storage. Install space USB hyphen storage space bin slash true is the command. Next is turn off IPv6 support. If you are not using IPv6 protocol, then you should disable it, because most of the application or policy not require IPv6 protocol, and currently it doesn't require on the server also. Go to the network configuration file and add the following lines to disable it. which the below command is useful to doing the same, which is vi space slash etc slash sysconfig slash network, where you can add this two line networks hyphen I network underscore IPv6 equal to no, IPv6 I90 equal to no. Next is advantages of hardening processes. It saves money in long run. It is done using less hardware and software running on the system, which leads the less money to spend in future for updates and expenses to remove the malware in the future. Next is eliminating access point. Removing unnecessary file software and file sharing reduces the number of access point a criminal has to the server. Next is improves the performance. Hardening frees up disk space and memory, which is like removing the sludge from the computer. The computer will work quicker and more efficiently because it has not bogged down or struggling to operate with limited memory spaces. Next is reduces holes in security. Hardening adds to the various level of security to protect a user and the servers. Hardening also removes the disabled files and programs that are often forgot about and provide attackers clogged access to the system. Next is queries. If you have any query and any doubt, you can simply drop a comment below on the video, or and I'll be solving it very soon. Next is references. These are all the references I took to complete this presentation. Thank you to all these websites, and thank you to you all for patience hearing me. Thank you.